atmosphere with Pacers Sports and Entertainment. Travel home safely. Go Fever!
Picture this. It's Friday night, the Fever are battling it out on the court, and who do we spot courtside? None other than Connor McCaffrey, Caitlin's man, sitting pretty next to Pacers superstar Tyrese Halliburton. But here's where it gets wild. Connor, who's not just arm candy but actually works for the Pacers, went absolutely bonkers supporting his girl. We're talking standing ovations, wild cheering, the whole 9 yards. According to the Indy Star's Chloe Peterson McCaffrey, along with Halliburton, stood up to applaud for every major Fever play. Before the game started, McCaffrey made it clear that he was also a huge fan of Clark's pre-game outfit. He posted a photo of his girlfriend on his Instagram stories with the ahem emoji. McCaffrey, who celebrated his 1-year anniversary with Clark last April, continues to be a huge pillar of support for rookie phenom. The 22-year-old posted a heartfelt message to McCaffrey for his birthday in July. Clark wrote to the former Iowa Hawkeye on Instagram, "Celebrating you is easy. Thankful to have someone as selfless and as loving as you in my life. May this be the year you finally find a way to outshoot me. Love you always." Wednesday was another historic night in the WNBA for Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark. She became the 5th player in WNBA history to record 2 triple-doubles in a season while beating the Los Angeles Sparks 93-86 in Indiana. The rookie recorded 24 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds, shooting 47.1% from the field. After her elite-level performance against the Sparks, Clark was seen meeting with a few upper-echelon fans on the sideline. She met with NBA star Tyrese Halliburton and shared a moment with her boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey. Both McCaffrey and Halliburton were seen sitting together courtside. During the game, Clark became the fastest in WNBA history to record 100-plus three-pointers made. She's been sensational in her first year in the league. Fans anticipate the rookie breaking records in every game. Clark's skills as a scorer and as playmaker have helped open doors for the Fever. She leads the league in average assists, which has elevated the play of stars Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell finished the win over LA with 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Boston had one of her best games of the season with 24 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists.
Just obviously now you're used to all the hype and everything like that, but when you go to all these cities, you go to see the stadiums, you see so many people wearing Clark jerseys or shirts and stuff. What's that feel like to you, and kind of just, how's that like?
Yeah, I think it's fun for myself. I think a lot of these cities that we're still going to now is like kind of my second time, so I know what to expect, what the venue's like, but the crowds, that's never something that gets old or something that you get used to. It's super fun for myself, and every place is still really different and unique in their own way. We're just in Minnesota, and now we're here in Atlanta, and the arenas are different. I felt like the last time we were here, there was like a lot of just basketball fans, a lot of people that really appreciate the game and understand the game and wanted to support the game of basketball, especially women's basketball. So I expect the same, and for myself, like it's really fun getting to see young kids in your jersey or whoever it is, and you're trying to take some time to interact with them.
First, you're on the right here.
Caitlin, you've hit some recent milestones. You ended the night with 81 and made 3-pointers, which trails the Dream's Ryan Howard, who had 85 in 2022 for most made 3-pointers by a rookie. What's your perspective when you hit these milestones and that you could hit another one here tonight in Atlanta against the Dream, against Ryan Howard?
Yeah, I mean, usually not something you're really aware of until it happens, I guess. And obviously Ryan had a really good rookie season, and she was somebody I played with when I was in high school, and she was in college on Team USA, on our U19 team. So, I know her pretty well and how talented she is. So it's definitely really cool. But I think it just comes with playing the game the right way. Especially playing offense the right way. I think our offenses continue to start to flow a little bit more. Has opened up some looks for myself along with my teammates. So just continuing to do that, I think is going to be really important for this group.
Caitlin, Coach Size has done a lot to bring the team together. Like I've seen you play baseball and all kind of different initiatives to kind of bring the team together. Have you seen those things translate on the court?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to really translate anything skill-wise, but I think having good relationships with your teammates is super important. I think Sometimes that can be hard to do at the pro level. Something that's very kind of easy in college, that's who you're kind of stuck with for 4 years. Obviously things are a little different now with the transfer portal, but I think in the pro level you don't always have one time to build those relationships like you're professionals. You're trying to go about your business and do all the right things, and I think it was a good break for us, obviously the Olympic break, having that time where we had most of our team together and being able to do some fun stuff away from basketball where the environment's loose and it's fun and you kind of get to know your teammates better and their personalities. And I think maybe it doesn't really need to be on a deep level, but those fun, whether it's playing baseball or putt-putt or whatever it is, those are fun activities that you get to share with your teammates and be competitive, and I think it definitely helps grow relationships from that standpoint.
Hey, Caitlin, you all haven't played the Dream since late June. What are some of the things that have been different that you've seen from the Dream since that last time?
Yeah, well, I think both teams are very different in the ways that they play. Obviously, the injuries that they had, I think they're starting 2 or 3 different people differently than what we played when we played them in June. So you can go back and watch that film and watch some of what they did, but you try to watch more recently of what they've done. They're really good in transition. They have really good, ISO players that are really good one-on-one, so you're going to have to be able to guard your man. But I think our team defense is going to be very important. I think we're a step behind versus Minnesota, and that's not something we can do tonight. Is we really got to pull over in rotations and be there for our teammates because they have some very talented players on this team. But I think they're running some different sets as well too on the offensive end, and being much more intentional in that action. So just preparing for that too.
Caitlin, how do you describe where you are now as opposed to the start of your rookie season? You've had the break, you've had a couple of wins now after the break. How do you feel now as far as the mental and the physical aspects of getting the leadership and your legs and your mind together for this second half run?
I'm just trying to take it game by game. I feel the best I've probably felt all year long from a comfortability standpoint, but also from just how my body feels and understanding the game and everything like that. I still feel like I'm learning every single day, and I still feel like there's just so many areas for me to continue to improve, and I think that's the most exciting part for myself, and I think also for our team. You still find areas where we kind of have a lapse, and that was the case versus Minnesota, where I think Christy broke it down, and in about 6 minutes of gameplay we gave up 30-some points. So it's those little margins, you can't make those mistakes versus these teams. It really costs you. You can maybe give it up one time where they go on a little run, but you can't give up 2 or 3 runs. It's really hard to recover from that. So I think just continuing to push myself and be a good leader and find my voice too. Obviously that can be hard at times as a rookie and as a point guard, but that's something that's going to be very important for this team down the stretch. And every single game is going to be very important for us, and you see this one's especially important.
Good. Last one on Zoom. Matt, want to go ahead?
Just to kind of follow up on the end of your last response, the Dream are only 2.5 games out behind you guys, so tonight's going to be important for playoff positioning. Has that been a message that you and your teammates have been kind of internalizing in the lead up to tonight?
I don't think that's not a conversation that we've honestly had. I think everybody's aware. It doesn't really need to be spoken. If you are following the league, it's very evident of what it is, and obviously the playoffs are where we want to be, and we know how close that race is going to be. So every single game is important, no matter who you're playing, whether people are have already clinched their playoff spot, whether they might not even make the playoffs. Every single game is going to be important for us down the stretch, and I think every person in our locker room knows that. But I think we're just trying to go one game at a time. Even if you lose game, not all is lost. Obviously we come into every game with the mentality to win, but this is a very tough league. We understand that and we know that, and I feel like we're playing good basketball right now, so just continuing to try to carry that through this.
The WNBA playoffs are right around the corner, and tensions are higher than ever. Teams are battling it out for those crucial playoff spots, and every game counts. It's in this high-stakes atmosphere that ESPN decided to drop some bombshells about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
This is what the WNBA standings look like right now. 7 of the top 8 teams have clinched their playoff appearance. Number 8 is still very much up for grabs. The teams that you see 8 through 11 could all end up in that final spot. LA is no longer eligible for the playoffs.
Now, before we jump into the juicy details, let's set the scene. As you can see from these standings, the WNBA playoffs are right around the corner, and tensions are higher than ever. Teams are battling it out for those crucial playoff spots, and every game counts. It's in this high-stakes atmosphere that ESPN decided to drop some bombshells about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. But here's where things get interesting. When you actually listen to what the ESPN analysts are saying, it's like they're reading from a completely different script. Instead of the hate fest we were expecting, we're hearing nothing but praise for Clark and her team. Talk about a plot twist.
Well, I think the New York Liberty, y'all, they are in a do-or-die situation. I think it's their year. I like the way that they are playing. They've got 4 players that are scoring double digits. Sabrina Ionescu is having a fantastic year in terms of taking the next leap in her game. And frankly, due to contracts, if they don't get it done this year, I'm not sure how that's going to go as you look forward in terms of the future of this organization.
Let's break down what's really going on here. The ESPN panel, featuring experts like Monica and Carolyn, start off by discussing the current WNBA standings. As you just heard, they're all business, talking about which teams have clinched playoff spots and who's still fighting for that last coveted position. But then, something unexpected happens.
In the bottom half, I think that Indiana is a problem. And the way that they are playing as of late, when you look at the numbers of what Caitlin Clark...
When asked about the most dangerous team in the lower playoff seeds, Carolyn doesn't hesitate for a second. She points straight to the Indiana Fever, and guess who's at the center of her praise? That's right, Caitlin Clark herself. Now, if ESPN was really hating on Clark, you'd expect them to downplay her abilities or focus on her weaknesses. But that's not what we're hearing at all. Instead, Carolyn goes on a full-blown hype train for Clark and the Fever.
Has done her improvement in how she has adjusted to the speed of the game, and her players have gotten used to playing with her. She knows how to lay it out on a dime.
She's practically gushing about Clark's improvement since joining the league and how she's adapted to the pro game's speed. But wait, it gets even better. Carolyn starts breaking down Clark's game in detail, and let me tell you, it's nothing short of glowing.
Her court vision is impeccable, and now her teammates are ready to catch the ball. They trust she's going to get it where it needs to be. But y'all, the favorite part of my game from Caitlin Clark is this behind-the-back pass. Come on now. Come on. I love it.
Just look at that behind-the-back pass. Carolyn calls it out specifically, saying how much she loves seeing Clark pull off this flashy yet effective play. Now, if you're like me, you're probably scratching your head at this point. Where's all this supposed hate we were promised? Because all I'm hearing is an ESPN analyst absolutely raving about Caitlin Clark's skills and impact on the game.
2 of those highlights, I believe, were a Clark-Boston connection. Those 2 have been the second best scoring duo in the league behind A'ja Wilson and Jackie Young. It has been so incredibly efficient.
But the Clark Love Fest doesn't end there. The panel goes on to discuss how Clark has developed an incredible on-court connection with her teammate, Aaliyah Boston. They point out that this dynamic duo has become the second best scoring tandem in the entire league. The only pair that's outscoring them, A'ja Wilson and Jackie Young, who are absolute powerhouses in their own right. That's some elite company Clark is keeping, and ESPN is making sure everyone knows it. What's really interesting is how the analysts talk about the chemistry between Clark and her teammates. They mention that Clark's teammates have gotten used to playing with her unique style. They trust that when Clark has the ball, she's going to find them in the perfect spot for a score. That's not just good basketball, that's leadership and team building at its finest.
The numbers bear it out. They've been on terrific tears since the All-Star break, but it also looks like they're playing with joy. They are gelling and having fun.
The panel even goes as far as to say that the Fever are playing with joy and gelling and having fun. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that doesn't sound like criticism to me. It sounds like ESPN is painting a picture of a team that's coming together at just the right time, with Caitlin Clark as the catalyst for their success.
Kelsey Mitchell, 25 points a game in August, had 25 in her game in September. You better watch out for her. And Lexi Hall in the starting lineup. That's a defender they need.
So fun to watch right now.
But here's where things get really interesting. The analysts aren't just focusing on Clark's offensive prowess. They're quick to point out how her presence on the court is making her teammates better. They specifically mention Kelsey Mitchell, who's been on an absolute tear lately, averaging 25 points per game in August. And let's not forget about Lexi Hall, who's been making waves in the starting lineup with her defensive skills.
I thought we could have came out with a little more energy. I thought we seemed a little bit flat. And I don't think that wasn't because of we felt complacent with already being in the playoffs or anything like that. I'm just not sure if our energy was quite where it needed to be. And I thought we could have picked that up a little bit better. We weren't always on the same page, and I think that kind of started from the beginning. We didn't really play with as much pace as we usually do. At moments, we definitely did, but I didn't think it was consistent throughout the game. And obviously, we could have taken care of the ball a little bit better. I think, we win by 10 to 15, maybe even more than that if we just take better care of the ball. So I think something you go back and watch, and we know on Friday we got to come out with a lot more energy.
We'll go low, then we'll go on the back to Don.
Earlier. Last week, Coach was talking about the improvement of the team that she cited. Toughness and maturity has come out in the last month since the Olympic break and those practices. Do you feel like this fourth quarter was an example of that, where you got challenged, you made some runs, but you couldn't put them away, but you had to fight them off again?
I think in the course of the season, it's about making sure that we're able to close out games. There were some games that we lost at the beginning of the season because our fourth quarter wasn't great, and so even going into this fourth quarter, you just emphasize that, listen, this is the fourth quarter, 10 more minutes, we have to give it all our best. We knew that they weren't just going to lay down and let us take the game, and so just making sure that if they score, then we have to score and then get a stop, and that's really our mindset, especially in that fourth quarter.
We'll go down, then we'll go with Keem on the right.
For both of you, just 6 straight home games, including tonight, to get that homestand started off with a win, knowing how well you played already the second half. Crazy environment every night here. How's that feel to get that homestand started out right, knowing that you're just going to be here at home for so long?
I think it's important. These are games you really need to win at home, and the more we can win, the better we can position ourselves for the playoffs. So, and also we're just a competitive group of individuals. Nobody wants to lose. That's not fun, especially in front of these fans. That a lot of them, they only get to see the Fever play one time. They spend a lot of money to come here and watch us and have fun with us. So, you want to kind of give them a show every single time we're in here. And honestly, it's a lot of fun. So, don't take that for granted, because before we know it, the season will be over. And I think this team is just trying to go one game at a time. But to get the homestand started off on the right note, I think was super important. And it's just continuing to go one step at a time and continue to build that confidence. But I feel like we're playing really good inside this building. So it's just continuing to build on that.
Go to Keem, then we'll go to James again.
And just kind of following up on Kristen's question earlier, just when the turnovers start to kind of mount and build, what is said, or what do you guys do to kind of refocus and get back on the same page?
We get straight to it. We say we need to take care of the ball. I feel like that's as simple as it is. We know what we have to do, and most of the times it's silly mistakes, so making sure that we just pay attention, make sure that we're ready for it, but at the end of the day, just take care of the ball, make a good decision with it.
We go James, and we go on Zoom.
Caitlin played 40 minutes tonight, entire game. Obviously, probably wasn't the plan, but how do you assess how you feel throughout the game? And do you ever ask to come out, or how did that go?
No, I like sprinting. I already told you guys. I don't know. I feel like finding a balance of when to conserve my energy within the game and playing with pace at the same time. I think there's times where you can pick and choose. I think I've done better at that, and I think even over the last stretch, the coaches found good minutes where I could get a quick breather. That becomes very important, especially in the fourth. But I felt tonight, I felt really good and could go the whole stretch, but it's never really, they don't really ask me. It's not really my choice. It's more so they know what they're thinking and what we need in the moment. So, I could probably go play another 40 minutes. I don't usually like to stop, so.
Go George on Zoom, then we'll finish with Mike.
George Goy from the Just Take Goy Sports Podcast. Caitlin, many rookies struggle to find both team and individual success in a rookie year. LeBron, Peyton Manning, and Connor Bedard did not make the playoffs in their rookie season. What does it mean to have team and rookie individual success?
I think it comes with just playing the game of basketball the right way. Coming in here, obviously, this organization hasn't been to the playoffs since 2016, and that was my main goal. And I felt like, once I got comfortable and kind of was, playing style of basketball that we wanted to play, which was up-tempo, which was playing off one another, was playing, setting my teammates up for success. And I think also once my teammates kind of got used to playing with me, it's been pretty smooth sailing and fun basketball since then. And, everything besides team success, that all just comes with when your team wins. You got to win to have all that on the side, and nobody really cares about that. People can talk about it. It is what it is. For me, it's fun winning basketball games. It's fun walking off the court and the crowd's going crazy because you just won and you played a good game. So for me, that's where my main focus is. And I think when I do that, everything else comes along with it. And I'm just thankful. I feel like I'm surrounded by really good people, really good coaches, really good teammates that allow me to be myself and set me up for success and have a lot of fun playing with me. So I've enjoyed every single second of it. And I think we're just going to continue to get better.
Last one, Mike Lopel.
Yeah, thank you. Caitlin, I just want to ask you a little bit about the defensive aspect of your game. Obviously, a lot of your rebounds are going to come on that end. You had 9 of them tonight on the defensive end, and then 3 steals, including that one late. But how much do you feel like you've grown as a defensive player, and how that part of your game you feel like is really coming along?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm a pretty good on-ball defender. It's just the off-ball that I need to continue to work on. Sometimes I get caught, watching my man, or don't always rotate in the way that I need to. I get caught standing a little bit. The rotations are very different than what I did in college, so I think it's still been kind of a learning process for me, and I continue to go back and watch the film with Coach Jesse and continue to learn. So I think that's just the biggest area that I can improve is definitely my off-ball defense, but honestly, I think I just try to use my basketball IQ and understanding angles to make plays for my team on that end and try to get deflections. And the one that happened late where we had to end up switching, I knew that was going to be the play just because coming off a ball screen, I come off a million ball screens, and AB wasn't letting her take the mid-range jump shot, so I knew she was going to try to dump it down to Hamby. So I tried to, cut it off and get my hand on the ball, and I was able to, and then Liz kind of picked it up. So I think just trying to use my IQ and my length and my speed at the same time, but I think the biggest area I can still improve is definitely my off-ball defense.
Caitlin Clark is an underdog. Serena told Caitlin Clark,
I just love that she tries to stay grounded, and she says she doesn't, what did she say? She doesn't have a social, she doesn't look at her social, and I get it. I don't either, and I think it's so important to continue to do what she's doing, and no matter what other people do, then if people are negative, it's because they can't do what you do.
Angel Reese's strategy of padding her stats has become concerning. She keeps increasing her numbers even in games that are already decided and out of reach.
this is Angel Reese. Watch this clip. She says the following. Go ahead and play it. She needs a lot of attention. Go ahead.
We watching women's basketball. It's not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
We don't get to say, well, Joe Rogan is #1 and we are important too, because of, that's not how podcasting competition works. You know who tells you you're good? The flipping market tells you you're good. By the way, you know when's the last time I watched a WNBA game? Never. Till today. I've still not watched a WNBA game.
Her latest game against the Indiana Fever clearly shows this trend. Despite the Fever having a strong lead, Reese remained on the court, focused on boosting her double-double stats. With the Fever's key players on the sidelines, she made the most of the opportunity by scoring and grabbing rebounds against their substitutes.
Angel Reese is playing against Caitlin Clark, okay? They have this big game going on. Neither one of them are the best teams in the league, but she gets fouled, Caitlin Clark does, and this is how Angel Reese, who she became a champion, by the way, in college. I think she won the championship. Caitlin Clark in the championship.
Exactly, 2 years ago.
However, for whatever reason, the audience likes watching Caitlin more because she's more exciting than Angel. But watch what she says after the way she fouls Caitlin Clark. Go ahead and play this clip.
For inside, I mean, I think we were playing really hard. I think we went up really strong a lot of times, and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle.
Reese ended the game with 10 points and 11 rebounds, but how she achieved those numbers has raised concerns among fans and analysts. Dwyane Wade openly called her out for padding her stats during meaningless moments of the game, angering those who viewed it as poor sportsmanship. His comments sparked a debate over whether Reese's double-double streak is truly legitimate. At the same time, Caitlin Clark's outstanding performance, leading the Fever to a dominant win with 31 points and 12 assists, has been largely overshadowed by the controversy around Reese's tactics.
One thing Caitlin Clark does maybe better than anybody in sports right now, makes it about others, makes it about team. Think about it. When's the last time you didn't see Caitlin Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlin Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never! Never! You never hear that. Now, that's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league right now.
Instead of focusing on Clark's accomplishments, much of the conversation has turned to Reese's questionable stat padding tactics. As the WNBA season progresses, it's uncertain whether Angel Reese will keep padding her stats in blowout losses, or if she'll take a more sportsmanlike approach and concentrate on helping her team get better.
Those Sky are falling off the map in the second half of the season. Why? Well, they got a star, right? Everybody tells me Angel Reese is an absolute star. Look at all the double-doubles. Oh, my God. Well, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky have made it about Angel Reese, not about the Chicago Sky. Even last night, if you look at it, what they have? Barbie night. We're giving out towels, blah, 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 blah. And when you see Angel Reese, what does she do? She's walking in with look at me outfits. It's about me. When you see Caitlin Clark, what do you see? It's about we. Angel Reese is coming off. Hey, look, won the national championship 1 year, got to the Final Four the next. Really successful career, but like most that come in the WNBA, nobody cared. So Angel Reese is coming in, and she's swimming upstream two ways. One, her team's not very good. Two, she's second fiddle to the little white girl over here, Caitlin Clark. And that pisses her off. On the second half of the season and the second half of this game, the team that was more together, was clearly the Indiana Fever, and the Indiana Fever routed.
One thing is clear. Her actions have sparked a meaningful conversation about fairness and respect in professional basketball. You wouldn't see the Chicago Sky having Elena intentionally foul just to get more free throw points, or asking Tina Charles to do the same. And you certainly wouldn't find Teresa Weatherspoon leaving a player in just to pad their stats when the game is already decided. Honestly, it gives the Sky an unprofessional image.
I think there's some people, first of all, I think it's jealousy. I don't want to get in, there's a lot of articles out there that are using the R word and talking about this. I think it is pure, unadulterated jealousy. And the last clip from Angel Reese, they're watching me too. They're watching me too. It's like she's begging us to believe in her validation. Whereas the numbers, words talk, Angel, numbers scream, and the numbers are screaming that the fans are coming for.
Consider the moment when Aaliyah Boston received a technical foul just before halftime. Heading into the third quarter, if you're the coach trying to win, who do you pick to shoot the free throws? Lindsay Allen? Rachel Banham? Wrong. Teresa Weatherspoon chooses Angel Reese, highlighting the team's lack of seriousness and damaging their credibility. It's no surprise Kalia Copper, Kennedy Carter, Marina Mabry, Dana Evans, and Camila Cardoso are eager to leave. Some players just want to play the game, not chase podcast fame, influencer deals, or acting roles.
Should there be a co-rookie of the year? Because Angel Reese is, of course, doing historical things with her double-doubles as a rookie, and Caitlin Clark already has set a million records and looks completely unstoppable, especially when it comes to dishing. And it feels like we are both on the same page here. No.
Some athletes in the WNBA are there to excel in their game. Instead of refining her free throws, working on post moves, or improving her mid-range shot, Angel Reese seems more interested in starring in commercials. After watching most of the Chicago Sky games and every Indiana Fever matchup, it's clear that Reese's double-doubles aren't contributing much to the team's success or morale. The focus seems to be on ensuring she hits her stats, even if it hurts team chemistry. As Rachel Banham bluntly said in a post-game interview, if getting blown out doesn't motivate you to improve, maybe it's time to take a hard look at ourselves. What should have been a night to celebrate Barbie turned into the Caitlin Clark show, with even rival fans cheering her on in what should have been an unfriendly stadium.
Caitlin Clark could be raising the tide and lifting all boats, and I think Angel Reese needs to take a pill because there is a great opportunity here, and I think jealousy is reigning supreme here.
With just under 4 minutes left on the clock, the crowd gave Caitlin Clark a standing ovation as she exited the court, marking her third 30-point game of the season.
Nobody was talking about your league. Nobody cared about the WNBA until that girl, Caitlin Clark, I don't care what color she is, she's ridiculous, she's nasty, and now people are watching, and you guys are talking shit about her? Like, what are you guys doing? They're sabotaging the whole thing. She should leave. She should have got those other contracts, Pat. Where does she have a contract to go somewhere else?
Big Three.
She should have gone to the Big Three. To hell with the WNBA. They're nothing. They're nobody. Nobody's watching.
They lost $50 million. The WNBA lost $50 million. The only reason they make it is because the NBA kind of gives money to them to help them out. It's a lost cause every year. It's a political DI.
In what's supposed to be hostile territory, Caitlin Clark received a hero's send-off. Is this really the opponent's arena? Walking around Chicago, I noticed more Caitlin Clark jerseys than anything else. Her jersey is quickly becoming the WNBA's version of a Yankee hat. Everywhere you look, Fever fans are wearing Clark's name, from jerseys to t-shirts, giving the game the feel of an NCAA tournament.
She's asked about the foul, look how different the response is.
About Angel Reese, what's going through your mind and how you just stay within yourself to finish the game?
What's going through my mind is I need to make these 2 free throws. That's all I'm thinking about. It's just a part of basketball. It is what it is. You know, trying to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah, I mean, it happens. And those free throws, when you have to shoot them with nobody at the line, are kind of hard. So it's a little different than having people at the line. So I was just trying to focus on making those.
Technically, it was an away game for the Fever, but with all the support, it felt like they had home court advantage. The night couldn't have gone worse for the Sky. Clark stole the spotlight, the Fever got the win, and Reese padded her stats in meaningless minutes. To top it off, Caitlin Clark was knocked down by Diamond D. Shields in one of 2 flagrant fouls against her, adding even more drama to the game. Truly disappointing.
Straight white girl goes into a league filled with lesbian blacks and beats their asses.
Honestly, how can that even be considered part of the game? Nothing about it resembled a basketball play. Once again, it highlights just how poorly Teresa Weatherspoon is managing the team.
I think I don't think the WNBA is ready for this type of attention that she's bringing to them. That attitude. There was another player that was crying after a regular season game, and you said the R word, Tom. I don't know why you were like blocking it. Racism. Everybody's talking about.
It's important to acknowledge the dark history in America, where white women were often portrayed as needing protection from people of color, and the damage that mindset has caused. So, it's troubling, though not surprising, that harmful narratives about the WNBA might lead to more of these toxic attitudes. Since their games against the Sun and now the Fever, we've seen the Sky resort to dirty tactics, with repeated flagrant fouls from their players. The team is starting to look disorganized, with their star player avoiding post-game interviews to dodge tough questions. Kennedy Carter, for example, seems to lead by shoving Caitlin Clark and essentially saying, "I'm not into this game, maybe tomorrow." So who's really in charge here? Carter, Reese, or is Teresa Weatherspoon still running the show? It's hard to tell at this point.
WNBA viewership, okay? Game. 7,300 in attendance, okay? The average Angel Reese game is 10,100, 10,200 they come to watch her. You know what the average attendance is when Caitlin Clark plays home or the road?
What?
15,300.
Wow.
Okay? 15,300. Do you know what Caitlin Clark just got the contract from Nike?
The Chicago Tribune and Chicago Sun-Times are making headlines with coverage of Diamond DeShield's body-checking Caitlin Clark, which has everyone talking. The Sky aren't happy with all the attention it's getting. If this incident with the Chicago Sky is what's riling up their fans, they might have the most sensitive fan base in the country. Softer than even California's or LA media's fans.
It's not rookies of the year, it is the rookie who has had the biggest impact on their team, and it's unequivocally, and the odds are saying that it's even distancing itself even further, that it's Caitlin Clark. She is leading in all of the statistical categories as a rookie, minus rebounds. Obviously, Angel Reese is averaging a double-double, but the impact on the team, we are talking again ad nauseum about Caitlin Clark leading as a rookie the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. They are ahead of the Chicago Sky. So I think, to me, if this is even reaching a conversation of splitting this, it might as well be, hey, you're a rookie, here's an award. You're also a rookie, here's just an award for being a rookie.
If this is what's upsetting you, you're definitely not ready for real sports coverage. Think about how the media treats athletes like A-Rod, Jeter, Aaron Boone, Jalen Hurts, or A.J. Brown. Remember how they pushed Andy Reid out? Come on, Chicago Sky fans. It's time to toughen up.
It's race-baiting rhetoric that's adding fuel to a fire. It's like enough with the racist BS. She's nasty. She knows how to ball. Everybody else is jealous. They're pissed off because again, it's ridiculous. And we're never going to advance as a species. And we're never, if he keeps having that type of attitude, it's ridiculous. It's like, what? Everything has to go back to race. Everything has to keep going back to race. She's really good. Let it be that. Everything about her is white, and he's going on these anti-white race things about her and how black personalities would be more successful if they were white. It's unattractive. It's making this victimhood mentality.
Maybe if you focused more on winning games instead of padding stats, you'd actually see better results. Instead, you traded your best perimeter player, Kennedy Carter, and Dana Evans wanted out. all because of this obsession with meaningless double-doubles. Now, it seems like Tamika Catchings, Nalissa Smith, Aaliyah Boston, and Dewana Bonner decided, let's end this Rookie of the Year talk today. They locked down on defense, leaving no room for competition, and that's exactly what they did. Game over, settled, shipped off.
Talking about sort of what has been an undercurrent this whole entire year and calling out people for their perceived hate on Caitlin Clark. And as someone that has already stepped into this space and was called numerous names on both sides of this argument, for people in the media, Caitlin Clark has become such a lightning rod that in many ways, I'm going to liken it to sort of Voldemort and Harry Potter.
The Rookie of the Year race is all but over, and now people are wondering, has the stat padding been going on all season? The answer seems to be yes, with double-doubles piling up. Meanwhile, Clark is pulling ahead, and the gap widens with each game. We're not focused on individual awards. I know that's what people think, but it's not what drives us, Clark said before the game. Everyone's trying to make it about that, but we're fighting for playoff spots, and that's our priority. Winning basketball games is what matters, plain and simple. And the results prove it. Indiana has now won 3 straight games and 5 of their last 6. On Friday, the Fever had assists on 26 of their 32 field goals and committed only 11 turnovers, while Chicago could only manage 5 points off those turnovers. It's about time, honestly.
Why am I watching WNBA stats? Because I want to hate on the WNBA as much as possible because they're a zombie company that is losing money, which I'll touch on in a second. Here's the reality. Antonio Brown, friend of the show, he came out and said that the WNBA is...
I don't know if it's a friend. I think it's a parody what you're saying, but keep going.
He's been on the show.
Yeah.
Shout out to AB. He says that it's a charity case for lesbians. And the reality is the WNBA is hemorrhaging money. You just said $50 million this year. It's a zombie company. Name another company that just loses money, and we're like, yeah, let's keep talking about this company for the last 25 years.
Clark mentioned that building chemistry with teammates takes time. They need to understand you, and you need to understand them. She said, I'll only get more comfortable the more I play. Chicago's problems aren't entirely on Reese, though. The Sky are missing offensive firepower, especially with Marina Mabrey, who was traded before the Olympic break, still being their second leading scorer. They've struggled to close out tight games, losing 6 by 4 points or less, including 3 during their recent slump. On Friday, Chicago had a 13-point lead in the first quarter, but ended up losing by 19. It took a 10-2 run in garbage time just to narrow the gap slightly.
I hate her because she's white, she's straight, and more importantly, she's better than everybody else. Period. End of story.
We're struggling to execute in crucial moments, and it's something we've got to fix, Reese said before the game. Nobody wants to keep losing. It's tough for everyone. Both Clark and Reese are poised for long, successful careers, but they'll always be compared to each other. Right now, Clark has the upper hand this season.
Well, this is expected of Caitlin Clark. She's supposed to be great. She's not the Rookie of the Year. Angel Reese is, because that's a surprise, which to me is wrong, because Angel Reese was the best player on the team that won a national championship in college. It's not like she came out of nowhere.
Angel and the Chicago Sky are gearing up to face Caitlin Clark in their next game, ready to stir things up. On the other hand, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are riding a winning streak heading into the matchup.
Was ever going on in the league. I think it was just a new environment for her, and now she's figured it out, and that's what Caitlin.
No, it's not about Caitlin.
But I feel like she's playing, but I don't think the way people are playing her has changed. I think she has gotten better as the season went on.
Well, she was supposed to get better. No, I'm just talking about like even though like that hit.
You haven't even heard anybody talking about the over physicality and stuff anymore because she's giving that shit back now. She's figured it out.
Yeah, but like even like this, she gets hit and she walks. She don't make it a big deal because she's used to it now. But they're still going to point it.
Apparently, all the accolades that Caitlin Clark is receiving is because she's white, and the jealous players who are attacking her are really the real victims, yeah?
Orianda Jacob, a well-known influencer and marketer, appeared on Jason Whitlock's podcast Fearless and made an interesting comparison between Caitlin Clark, the rising star of women's basketball, and pop sensation Taylor Swift. Jacob admitted she would avoid crossing paths with Clark, fearing her passionate fan base, known as the Clark Seas. She stated, Caitlin Clark is the Taylor Swift of women's sports. We don't mess with Taylor Swift, and we don't mess with Caitlin Clark, because the Swifties will come for you, and so will the Clark fans, or whatever you want to call them.